Okay, hey everybody, how are you? This is Darla with Stampin' with Chaos. This is take 99. So I'm going to try to get through this one. It is Friday morning. I hope you guys are all having a great Friday. I know people are getting ready to take off for the weekend. It's the big Warden Community Day, so tomorrow they're having a really nice car show. It's down in the park. They get a lot of cars down here. I think they have a food booth set up. They'll have music playing. I'm not sure what's going on Sunday, but I do know Mondays are big community days. They do the parade. Then everybody goes down to the park. They've got food booths. They've got music. They got volleyball tournament. They've got oh my goodness, a cornhole tournament. They've got vendors set up. A lot of the kids' classes, like class of 2024 and stuff, will have booths down there as well. So come on over. It actually is a lot of fun. The girls, Renee and Sierra, and the girls that have put it on, that takes that whole little village, Megan, they do a phenomenal job. So anyways, with that being said, I'm going to pop on down and do a card today. This is kind of an easy card. Well, an easier card. It doesn't require a lot of die cutting or anything. Just mainly more stamping. So I think it's pretty. You could use it for a wedding. You could use it for a birthday. You could use it for Mother's Day. I'm leaving this one blank inside, so you could do whatever you would like. I'm using the Dogwood, detailed Dogwood stamp I've used before. There's a lot of detail to this stamp. And then we just used the blending brush. So we're going to go ahead and pop you down, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. This little Stamparatus thing is called, I think it's a Misty. It is a Misty. It says it right there. I got this one off of Amazon. Stampin' Up! Had the Stamparatus, but when something happened and somebody said we stole their patent, or I don't know, but they had to take it off the market until they can get it all figured out. And so I have this one, and I don't use it a lot. I do like it. The reason I chose to do it on this card is there's so much detail in this stamp. I could not get it with just a stamp pad to stamp the right way. So this gives me a little bit more, I can apply more pressure in my mind. Maybe not in real life, but in my mind, that's how it works. So, and once again, this is not a Stampin' Up! Product. If they get theirs to come back out, I will definitely get it. Because their Stamparatus, you could pull the plastic off. So you could stamp here, pull this off, and it had notches, and you could move it down and then stamp again. So there was perfect spacing between. So you could do happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. The way I have to do it, I have to measure everything to make sure that I get it. So using a Stamparatus instead of a Misty would work really, really great. Okay, so with that being said, this is what I do. I'm sure there's a million different ways to do this. I put my stamp on my paper to where I want to stamp. First of all, I cut a white piece that was 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is our crumb cake, which I cut to 5 1/4 by 4. And then I'm going to place the stamp where I actually want it. And then I'm going to come down. This is a magnet that holds it in place, which is awesome. And then you're going to come down, and then I just push on it, and then it applies the pressure to the stamp. So you want to make sure your stamp is clean and there's no water or no nothing on it. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mat from Stampin' Up! And I'm going to put it under there, so then I can get a better pressure. Otherwise, it's not level, and I couldn't seem to get the ink where I wanted it. So we are using early espresso ink this morning, and I am just going to push it this way all the way down, because this one has so much detail to it. It's hard to get it in those creases. I'm going to do that, and then I even take my blending brush, put some ink on, and make sure I go over those little. I was having a hard time getting this part of the stamp to come through. So the other cool thing about the Stamparatus is if you put the stamp down and you don't get your stamp that you want, you can open it back up, apply more ink, and go back into the same spot. It doesn't move. So, okay, so let's do this the first time. You got to push pretty hard and then lift it up. See how it's not very dark there? You can apply more ink, but usually what I do is I do this because it's, there you go. Now, if you want it darker, which is awesome too. Just apply more ink. I had to put more ink in my early espresso the other day. I use this all the time, but see how you can just go back down over the top of it? Look at that. Pretty. And I'm going to go one more time because I still can't get that dang little flower. There we go. Okay, that's probably a little lot darker than I like. Oh, crap. What I was going to tell you is you don't have to, you can move the paper or you can move the stamp. So because I'm doing it back to back, so I moved the paper that time, which actually worked out pretty good. It's not going to be too bad. So get the paper positioned where you want it, put your magnet down, make sure it's straight, and then kind of look, and that's going to work out, that'll work out perfect. So then you're going to go back, you're going to re-ink. And then we're going to stamp again, put it down really good and hard. See, and that one came out pretty good, but it's still pretty light, so I'm going to ink it one more time. So that is the neat thing about the Misty or the Stamparatus. People are selling the Stamparatuses, but they're still selling them for like almost $100. And I'm kind of holding off, hoping that Stampin' Up will come back out because then I can get my little discount. Okay, so we could go one more or we could leave it that way. I think I might go, because this one's pretty dark. I think I might go just a little bit more. Let's kind of move some ink around. Go like this. There you go, and it's perfect because I'm going to put a ribbon across it anyways. Usually you don't have to push this hard, but this, like I said, this is a special stamp. It's got a lot of detail in it. If you were just doing a happy birthday or something, it probably wouldn't require that much pressure. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to put this away because I'll end up wearing it. I'm going to take this, I'm going to set this. I better clean this. You know what's going to happen is I'm going to end up with it all over me. Okay. I'm going to use baby wipes on this, and then we're going to use our cleaning pad from Stampin' Up! Just because it has so many little crooks and crevices and... And one of these is water, and take this and... So this is a cool little thing. This side over here, it has a spritzer that you can get the, I just put water on it. So you put it on here and clean, you get it all wet and gooey, and then over here it goes in and scrubs it. And I don't use this a lot. I use it more on the ones that have the detail because it's hard to get it. See, now it looks better. Perfect. So now it's nice and clean and doesn't have any leftover ink in there. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side. Put Mr. Misty away as well. Get it out of my way and the pad. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to take our blending pen. I told you I love the blending pen. My desk is a mess. You get 3 to a pack, and they have 2 tips on each side, and all this does is pull color in, right? So we're just going to go kind of where the lines are, and we're just going to grab a little bit of color on all of this. You don't want a lot of color. I just want a little bit. I don't want them all colored in. I just want, so you can definitely see there, it gives it a little dimension, brings out the flower. This one's kind of, and then I will color the wood really good. So the stem of the bush, the leaves, I just, and then remember this dries. So once it dries, you get a lighter effect on it too. Because there's been times I'm like, oh, I don't like how that turned out. And then I let it sit for a bit and come back and I'm like, oh, that, you know, that turned out really well. So I use this blender pen a lot. So if you don't have any markers at home or any of the stamping blends, this is another way to help color. bring out color, I should say. And it's really easy to use. I'm picky about pen tips, and I absolutely love this one. Like I said, you don't want it all colored in. You just need it to have some dimension. How's that? And then, like I said, it will dry. So we got that. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take, this is our burlap ribbon. And I'm just going to cut it. Oh, I lied. Whoop, I'm getting ahead of my game. I need to do a little bit more stamping. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to still use the early espresso. And I'm using the stamp set. I believe this is Notes of Nature. Notes of Nature. And it has these little dots. So that's what we're going to use. And we're going to go around and we're just going to dot up some open space. Just to kind of make a filler. Okay. Then after that, we're going to take our blending brush. Whoops, I need that still. We're going to get a little bit of ink. When you blend, you want to start on the paper and then move in. And I just kind of want to do I don't want to do over the flowers. That one I went a little too far, but that's all right. And this actually had the ink from before, so it's a little bit darker, which is fine. But you just want to kind of go around the flower just to kind of add, see how it pulls it out. Okay, now we can add our ribbon. And I'm going to be using the burlap ribbon. I believe the burlap ribbon was from last year's Christmas. You're probably going to be seeing a lot of, I told myself I'm not buying any more new stuff. So I got my last order in yesterday and we're finishing off the year with what I have. I got to start planning for Christmas. So let's see. How are you guys surviving this economic disaster? And I'm not talking presidents, I'm just talking the financing of everything is so stinking expensive. You know, it's like doubled or tripled in grocery bills. What me and Paul spend on groceries, I spend on for I could go a month on it. It's just ridiculous. I'm having a hard time with it. I did try a new, I didn't want to do that. I tried a new recipe today with hamburger. And I know we get ours we buy a beef. And so we pay for it in December. And so then we usually go until November with our, with meat. So we're rounding down the corner. We may have to buy a little bit of extra hamburger because we used a little bit more. But anyways, I tried I tried squirrel. I tried a new recipe in the crock pot, and it's a meatloaf. And I'm not a big meatloaf person because I'm not a ketchup person. And so this one looked amazing. So you took your hamburger, breadcrumbs, egg, Parmesan cheese, like for the top of your spaghetti. There's something else in there. Egg, milk, Worcestershire sour sauce, and you squish it all together. You put that in the pan and in the crock pot. Then you take beef broth, and then you take, it said 3 onions. I only had 1.5 onions, but you take that with a half cup of butter and saute it and caramelize the onions. And then I dumped my beef broth in with that when it was done, mixed it up, and then pour that over the top of the meatloaf in the crock pot and turn it on low and cook it. And then 10 or 15 minutes before it's done, you're supposed to add sliced Swiss cheese to the top. So I will give you my review, and if it is as good as it looks and smells, I will be posting the recipe because it is, oh, it smells so good. So then I think we're going to get potatoes because potatoes are pretty inexpensive. And then we're going to use the liquid to make some gravy and maybe have some mashed potatoes with it. So I will let you all know. I'm excited. It smells super, super good. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to throw this down on top after you put your ribbon on. And I use my little dots. I put them on the sides. Try to get it as tight as you can. And then we have this gold ribbon. I wish Stampin' Up! Would put their names on them, and I need to start looking so that I can write them on the sides. So this is just a really pretty gold thin ribbon. We're going to cut it, and then we're going to go under and make a bow. And yes, I used too big of a piece, but I have fat fingers to make my bows. And then you're just going to do that. You're going to make your bow. And then trim your bow up. Isn't that stinking cute? And now we're going to throw some doodads on it. If I can find my doodads, and I bet I threw them down here. And the ones that we are using, I already went through a pack of them, are, oh, that's not them. Oh, here they are. Sorry about that. They are called the Adhesive Back Sparkle Gems. Aren't they pretty? And I've already used a bunch, so we're going to go ahead and throw 3. You never put, they tell you never to put an even amount. You always use an odd amount. So we're going to put 3. There we go. And the front of the card is done. That's how easy it is. For the inside of the card, I took another 5 1/4 by 4 piece of cardstock of the crumb cake. And all we're going to do is take the blending brush and the early espresso ink, and we are going to blend it just to give it some color. Start off and just go on. And then that way you can either stamp on it, you could put happy birthday, wedding wishes, thank you, whatever you would like. And it's good to go. And that's, I'm gonna, wrong card. And I'm just gonna leave it plain like I said. Sometimes it's nice to have a card that you actually have a little bit more room to write on. After I get done with this, then I'm cleaning up this mess, and then I get to start on my subscription boxes. Get those done so I can mail them on Tuesday. There we go. So easy, so cute. So anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic Labor Day weekend. Don't forget about Warden. If you're looking for something to do, come on over. It's a lot of fun. And I will be talking to you soon. This is Darla with Stampin' with Chaos.